January 13th, 2017. I'm on space.com. Title of the page is Exoplanet Searches Next Step. Pictures of Earth-like worlds. I'll go ahead and read it a little bit out to you guys. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but when it's the first ever image of an Earth-like exoplanet, a picture could be worth far more. That's our goal at Project Blue. 10 years ago, scientists didn't know if Earth-like planets were common in this galaxy. Earth-like means planets that are made of rock rather than being gas giants and orbit their stars in the Goldilocks zone, where it's right at the right temperature for liquid water to exist on a planet's surface. These conditions are essential for life as we know it to evolve. Right off the bat, a few very problematic statements here. Of course, they didn't know if Earth-like planets were common. They wouldn't, because they don't have correct theory. If they knew that stars evolved into Earth-like worlds, it would have been obvious that there are clearly hundreds of billions of them out there. But they had incorrect theory, so there's no way to tell. Your theory determines what you can see. I think Einstein said that. Earth-like means planets are made of rock. Well, rock and metal. The fact that we have a giant metal core in the center of the Earth. How the hell did that thing get there? And then the biggest damning thing that's very problematic, and this idea is spread far and wide but needs to be corrected immediately. These conditions are essential for life as we know it to evolve. The conditions for Earth to be as is, for life to evolve? No. A star cools and dies and forms life on it as it cools and dies. The ionized material combines into molecules. Those molecules become more and more complex as they rain down into the interior of the star, eventually populating the surface with microbiological life, and you name it. Basically, star evolution, the energy of star evolution, is required to form something as complex as life as we know it. And Earth is at the very end stages of its evolution, where life has been evolving for billions of years as the star Earth has been cooling, dying, and leaving the heavy materials left over. Huge problems. Here's another statement here. Today, thanks to the Kepler Space Telescope, researchers have discovered thousands of planets that fit this description, but no one has ever seen one. That's because Kepler uses indirect detection methods. Instead of looking at the planets, it looks at the stars they're orbiting. Does the star wobble slightly due to orbiting bodies? Does it dim ever so slightly when a planet passes in front of it? You know, it's right in front of them, man. A planet is a dim star. Right in front of them, man. It's like they could just reach out and grab it if they wanted to. But their minds are so narrow, so conditioned in college and universities and throughout their lives, that they can't see the most obvious thing ever. That those big, hot, shining, radiant balls of plasma out there aren't going to be big, hot, shining, and radiant their entire lives. They're going to dim, they're going to cool, they're going to shrink, and they're going to solidify into what's called a planet. They're the same fucking things. They're obsessed with that fucking disk theory bullshit that was invented in the 1700s. The 1700s, man. Over 300 years ago. You think that maybe somebody up in the university was like, wait a second, this shit's out of date. We needed to do something about this. Nope. What scientists would really like to know is whether all those exoplanets are barren worlds like Mars, or if some might be lush with teeming with life like the Earth. The photograph won't answer the question, but it will provide some first valuable clues and lay the foundation for more detailed follow-up missions as imaging technology advances. And the last thing for this talk is that you'll see astronomers and you'll see astronomy in general focus on, hey, where are all the Earth-like planets out there? Where are they at? Let's go find all of them. And they're going to neglect how the hell those things formed to begin with. That's going to take the back seat. They're going to focus on, hey, is this an Earth? Does it have life on it? Yada, yada, yada. And that's where the next media stream is going to go. They're going to ignore the intermediate stages of star evolution, where the Earth-like planet was a brown dwarf, between brown dwarf and red dwarf star, where it was cooling and the majority of the core was beginning to form, and it was basically setting the grounds for what would become the Earth-like world. But they're going to ignore that stage. They don't give a shit about early star evolution. Remember, they have their bullshit disk theory. They have the star, and you have a disk, and you have a planet. Get rid of the fucking disk. You have to realize that the star is the planet. It's the same fucking thing. But, I don't know, it's January 13th, 2017. It's been literally over 5 years since I've known about this, and these astronomers still have their heads up their asses. Maybe I should give them some Vaseline to correct their issues. Anyways, take it easy, y'all.